I am sitting down with Peter, Michael, and Darby, who are Antlers. Guys, how are you?
Hey,
Great.
good.
Great, thanks.
So you're touring in support of this album that I have here called Hospice, which is, I think, a fantastic piece of work.
Thank you.
There's an interesting story behind it. You put yourself in a bit of a position of isolation when you were writing and recording it. Do you care to
A
talk
little
to
bit. It was more about the period of time before writing the record. That was a sort of self-imposed shutting off from a lot of people. And this record and recording it and writing it and bringing people into it was this sort of opening the door.
Was it like exile to simplify your life maybe a bit?
It wasn't necessarily an intentional kind of retreat. It was more circumstantial, and it wasn't quite until I came out of it that I realized how far away I'd been.
Do you think the sound would have been different if you had maybe a bigger budget?
Totally differently, I think. For the worse, probably. I don't know. I think it really works just having like one microphone and layering. And not, let's record everything live and have it all polished and pristine. And
I guess it makes you do sort of one piece at a time instead of like in the studio.
It does do that. But I think it also contributed to the intimacy of the record. The sound, kind of, I think, reflects that.
Can you talk about the process of translating that to a live setting? Because when I heard the album, I was very curious as to what it would actually sound like.
the live performance kind of transformed as we moved into the Hospice sort of songs. The band was formed around the last record, and it sounded totally different, and the lineup was totally different. And as we sort of started bringing in these pieces of music to the show is when we changed the lineup around and started playing new instruments. So at least I felt everything sort of becoming new again anyway, and so we just sort of rethought instrumentation and style and practiced a lot, and it just sort of organically developed into something else.
Speaking of that organic idea, it's been getting a lot of hype. Did you guys anticipate that at all?
No.
Can't.
I can say I'm really proud to be part of this record. It's definitely one of the best things I've ever, if not the best thing I've ever been a part of. But I don't think anybody in their right mind could say, they're going to record something and have people react to it in a really positive way. Kind of, it's taken us really by surprise in the most amazing way.
I honestly, I had this moment where right when the record was done and kind of getting sent to mastering, like we just got the master back. I was driving around in my car just listening to it like right before it came out, and I had honestly was thinking, and I really had no idea how people would react to it at all.
There's certain moments of it that really do grab you, though. I mean, particularly in a song like Wake, it's a record that has a lot of, I guess, heavy subject matter. How do you manage to sort of play that every night? Does that become a challenge at all?
In a way, you distance from it. You're not necessarily reliving it all the time, but I think for me, it kind of helps keep me engaged with our live show. That helps me feel what we're doing more every night.
Is that just a natural inclination for you guys to stick with a certain idea or a certain sound all the way through it, the recording process and everything?
You start with a few songs or a few sounds or whatever, and then everything sort of helps everything fall into place. Having like a world that's created and a story or whatever, and having that change from record to record helps you not think of things in terms of like song, how do we order them, but just being like basically just one big long song.
Let's the audience get behind it too. It becomes almost cultish in a way.
Yeah, I think people really, they develop an attachment to it and they feel it personalizes it.
Cool, guys. Well, this is Hospice is out in a physical remastered version August 18th.
Yeah.
And you are Antlers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks.